From rising global tensions to AI breakthroughs and environmental milestones, the world is shifting fast. In the next few minutes, we'll take you across continents and inside boardrooms, labs, and protests, where the decisions of today are shaping the headlines of tomorrow. This is your evening brief. In a moment many say reflects the hard lessons of COVID-19, World Health Organization member states have finalized a draft pandemic treaty. The agreement lays the groundwork for how the world might respond to future health crises, aiming to improve global coordination and ensure rapid reporting of outbreaks. A key element includes a shared pool of medical supplies, 20% reserved by the WHO for equitable distribution. However, critics point out that the treaty is non-binding, and countries aren't obligated to ratify or comply. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus called the deal a sign that, even in fractured times, nations can still find common ground. But not everyone is on board. The United States, under President Trump, withdrew from the WHO in January and did not participate in negotiations. Argentina also declined to join, with President Javier Milei citing ideological clashes with the Global Health Agency. South of the U.S. border, Mexico has announced it will resume water deliveries to Texas farmers. President Claudia Sheinbaum said there's enough flow in the Rio Grande to begin meeting the country's obligations under a 1944 water-sharing treaty with the United States. The decision comes just days after President Trump threatened Mexico with new tariffs and sanctions over missed water quotas, blaming the shortfall for harm to American agriculture. The treaty mandates Mexico send 1.75 million acre-feet of water to the U.S. every 5 years, while the U.S. sends 1.5 million to Mexico annually from the Colorado River. Mexico fell short this cycle, citing extreme drought. The U.S. has already rejected a Mexican request to redirect water from the Colorado to Tijuana. Sheinbaum says a new proposal is on the table. Back in Washington, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has shut down the State Department's office, once known as the Global Engagement Center, now rebranded the Counter Foreign Information Manipulation and Interference Office. The center, initially tasked with identifying and countering foreign propaganda, came under fire for what critics called overreach into domestic speech. Rubio accused the office of using public funds to suppress American voices. The decision follows backlash from Republicans and tech leaders like Elon Musk, who labeled the center a major player in government censorship. Leaked documents from the so-called Twitter files revealed that the office had flagged some accounts based on vague criteria, including discussions about COVID's origins. A federal appeals court later found no evidence of coercion by the government, but did acknowledge the potential for overreach. Meanwhile, fear of immigration enforcement has led to the cancellation of major Cinco de Mayo events in two of America's largest cities. In Philadelphia, the beloved Carnaval de Puebla was called off after a wave of performer withdrawals and growing anxiety over reported ICE activity. Organizers said families were opting to stay home rather than risk public gatherings. The same sentiment is echoed in Chicago, where the Cinco de Mayo parade in Little Village has also been scrapped. Local leaders described a climate of fear, with residents worried about raids and deportations. They say the Mexican-American community feels under siege and is in no mood to celebrate. In Asia, Google is expanding its clean energy efforts with its first geothermal power project on the continent. The tech giant plans to add 10 megawatts of geothermal capacity in Taiwan, working alongside a local branch of Sweden's baseload capital. This follows a successful geothermal project in Nevada and is part of Google's larger push toward 24/7 carbon-free energy. Geothermal energy, unlike solar and wind, offers consistent, around-the-clock power by tapping into Earth's underground heat. It's efficient, compact, and immune to changes in weather. Taiwan, sitting atop the Pacific Ring of Fire, has set an ambitious goal to reach 6 gigawatts of geothermal capacity by 2050. On the AI frontier, Google DeepMind has introduced a new model designed to decode the sounds of dolphins. Called Dolphin Gemma, the model is based on Google's Gemma AI framework and trained on over 4 decades of data from the Wild Dolphin project. It can now generate dolphin-like vocalizations and run directly on mobile devices. This summer, researchers will begin using the system with the Pixel 9 smartphone, allowing real-time call generation and response analysis without relying on external equipment. The goal is to deepen understanding of dolphin communication and behavior using AI-powered field tools. Meanwhile, OpenAI is quietly developing a new social media platform, according to a report from The Verge. The experimental app features a feed and leverages ChatGPT's image generation capabilities. CEO Sam Altman has been privately testing it and collecting feedback. It's unclear whether the platform will launch independently or integrate into existing ChatGPT tools. The move could put OpenAI in direct competition with social giants like Meta and X. Tensions have escalated between Altman and Elon Musk, who co-founded OpenAI but left in 2018. Musk recently made a nearly $100 billion offer to acquire control of the company, which Altman rejected. Both sides are now locked in legal battles. In education, the Trump administration is demanding that Harvard University turn over records of international students suspected of what officials call illegal and violent activity. The push follows recent pro-Palestinian protests on campus and growing criticism over how schools are handling anti-Semitism. The administration has set an April 30th deadline for the release of disciplinary files and visa data. Over 1,000 international students across more than 160 U.S. institutions have reportedly lost their legal status since late March, often for minor infractions like traffic violations. Harvard warns that these moves threaten its academic integrity and international partnerships, noting that 27% of its students are from abroad. The Trump administration is also moving ahead with a massive downsizing of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Nearly 90% of the agency's workforce, about 1,500 employees, received layoff notices this week. Acting Director Russell Vought says the restructuring aligns with a revised mission to better serve the agency's core goals. The CFPB, created after the 2008 financial crash, has long been a target for conservatives and business interests. Critics argue it has overstepped its bounds in regulating banks and lenders. A court ruling recently cleared the path for the layoffs, though not for the agency's full termination. With just 200 employees left, its future remains uncertain. Senator Elizabeth Warren, one of its original champions, condemned the move as a betrayal of working families in favor of wealthy donors. And in Iran, National Army Day was marked with a large-scale military parade showcasing an array of advanced weaponry, including homegrown drones, ballistic missiles, and Russian air defense systems. President Masoud Pezeshkian used the occasion to declare Iran an undisputed power in the region, crediting its military strength with preserving peace and regional influence. The show of force comes amid renewed diplomatic efforts between Iran and the United States over Tehran's nuclear program. Talks are set to resume in Italy, but Israel remains firmly opposed to any deal that allows Iran to retain nuclear capabilities. Behind the scenes, China and Russia are also in the mix, with Chinese generals even attending the parade. Both nations have strategic interests tied to Iran, especially in oil and military technology. With tensions simmering, all eyes are on whether diplomacy can prevail without tipping the balance in an already volatile region. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.